We've talked a little bit about future proofing
Mhm.
because of what can happen in the future.
Mhm.
What's kind of some of your other major predictions? And obviously people can join one of your webinars to hear all of them.
Yes.
We'll send out a resource of your predictions as well. But what's kind of one, if you would, this is a good question. If you were to pick one of your predictions that you think people really need to pay attention to,
Mm.
what would be the one prediction that is like the most impactful for people to become aware of?
Okay, that's a great question. My general thesis is that fiat money, money issued by governments, is becoming less and less valuable. I don't know if everybody out there picked it up, as well as cutting the US interest rate at the Fed, the Federal Reserve, at the beginning of December. As well as doing that, they also turned the money printer back on.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not calling it quantitative easing, but it is quantitative easing.
Yeah.
They've got some other fancy name for it, which don't worry about what they're calling it, but basically the money printer's back on. So having been tightening and tightening and tightening global liquidity is now going the other way.
Yeah.
The number one asset class that all central banks, without exception, around the world are buying is gold. So if you don't do anything else, and if you've got some spare money, and it is important to you, so it's not like, it's spare money that I don't need to feed myself next week. I can afford to put it on the 315 at Chepstow or something.
Yeah.
I don't mean that kind of spare money. I mean money that you don't need today, but you want it in the future. So you want it to grow in the future. My number one recommendation will be to get very familiar with gold. And in many jurisdictions around the world, you can buy and sell gold without paying tax. So in the UK, for instance, you can do that if you buy sovereigns, gold sovereigns issued by the Royal Mint. So there's no VAT, there's no capital gains,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And if you can invest in gold, then I would.
Yeah.
In fact, never mind, I would. I do.
Yeah. So we've done silver.
Yes.
We've done gold.
Yes.
Brilliant. I think they're definitely a top one to have there. And I do invest in all of those things as well.
Just be careful with silver. It's called the devil's metal for a particular reason. Its volatility is 10x gold.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
So, and the silver market globally is less than 10% of the gold market.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good at the moment, but it can rapidly turn from very good to very bad.
And again, I think it's a really good point to make. But if you are thinking longer term, you can't really lose when it comes to gold and silver.
Okay, so gold, no. If you look, for instance, the last 15 years at gold in either dollars or pounds, you've got double-digit returns year on year. Yeah, you've maybe got a year where it goes backwards 2% or something.
Yeah.
But if you held it for 15 years, history shows us it's a double-digit 10% plus compound growth. And last 12 months for gold in dollars or pounds has just been insane. It's more than 50%.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the last 2 years, it's more than double. Silver, on the other hand, it's just a different thing. Silver is now at an all-time high. The previous all-time high was, can't remember if it was 2013 or 2014, but it went up like a rocket and it then halved and it stayed halved for more than a decade. Gold has never done that. Silver has.
Yeah.
So
when we're thinking long term with silver, we're thinking longer term
very
than
long
we're thinking
term.
with gold.
And also think, if it's a fairground ride, with silver, you're on a roller coaster. You're like, way, whoa.
Yeah.
If gold is more like you're on one of those carousels with the horse that goes up and down.
Yeah.
It's a lot less scary, and you're a lot less likely to kill yourself.
Yeah.
So even if you fell off, get a few bruises. But
yeah,
that's an analogy I haven't used before. I'm not sure it's right, but
yeah.
Silver is definitely scary.
Yeah. I love it all. One of my favorite things to do is to trade the markets tax-free, gold or silver market, make profits specifically on those two markets.
Yeah.
And I kind of have an internal mechanism that when I make money specifically on those two markets, I go and buy them as a physical asset.
Yeah.
I just quite like that.
Yeah.
So I trade it electronically.
Yeah.
And then I go and buy it physically. That's a great way to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably the only major asset class we've touched on shares and pretty much everything else. Crypto, bless you.
Sorry.
Crypto is a favorite of mine, but not crypto generally, just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I only invest in Bitcoin. And my internal rule, you were talking about rules, which is what triggered it in my brain, is for every euro, because my main currency is euro,
Yeah.
I invest in Bitcoin. I counterbalance that with a euro in gold. So my gold and Bitcoin are mirrored.
Brilliant.
And that's,
Yeah.
it serves me.
Yeah. So, final point,
Yes.
just so people are aware, because I'm not sure we mentioned at the start. What's your accuracy on your predictions over the past few years?
In excess of 95%.
Well, I think they're definitely worth listening to then.
Well, the other thing that might be interesting to people is, if I look at the last 2 years in particular, I was doing all right up until 2 years ago. So over my entire life until the age of 59, so 2 years ago, I've taken, not mine, but mine and Aniko, my wife's net worth, to just over 50 million. By following my own advice in the last 2 years, we've doubled it. So it's now over 100 million. And I'm not saying that to piss anybody off. It's just, I take my own medicine.
Yeah.
I don't tell people do that and then I do that instead.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually sharing is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I might be right, I might be wrong, but I do believe it because that's where I put my money.